This win will fix my marriage. I swore. My wife filed for divorce the next day. My name is Lucas. I calculate other people's losses for a living. 6 months ago, my wife and I lost our baby. We stopped talking, started moving around each other like strangers. I thought if I could solve our money problems, we could find our way back. The casino felt like math I could control. $50 became 100. 100 became our rent money. I sat there at 3 a.m. with $73 left, thinking about my wife crying in the shower. I pushed it all forward on one hand. Jack 7 against the dealer's Queen 9. When I walked through our door, she was sitting at the kitchen table with divorce papers spread out like she'd been waiting. She'd been planning this while I was busy losing our future to basic strategy and hope. When you're trying to save something that's already broken, how do you know the difference between one more try and the last mistake that ends everything? My name is Lucas Davenport, and I spend my days deciding what other people's pain is worth. The file on my desk shows a roofer named Miguel Santos who fell 22 feet onto concrete. Crushed vertebrae, torn ligaments, surgery twice. The photos are brutal: blood on scaffolding, an ambulance, x-rays that look like broken pottery. Miguel will never work construction again. His wife cleans offices at night now. 2 kids, ages 6 and 9. I punch numbers into my calculator. Lost wages, $47,000 yearly times 15 years until retirement. Medical bills, $230,000 and climbing. Pain and suffering gets tricky. How much is a man's back worth? His ability to lift his daughter? I settle on $340,000 total. The insurance company will negotiate down from there. It's 6:30 p.m. The office hums with fluorescent buzz. Everyone else went home an hour ago, but I'm avoiding that walk to my car. Avoiding the drive to our apartment, where Jenny will be microwaving leftover Chinese food in silence. 8 years I've done this job. 8 years of calculating what gets taken away when life goes sideways. I'm good at it because I understand the math of loss. What I didn't understand was how quickly you can become the person in the file instead of the one holding it. The Santos claim gets a yellow sticky note. Approved pending review. Miguel will get his money. Not enough, never enough, but something. His wife can quit the night cleaning job. The kids can stay in their school district. I lock the file in my desk drawer. The calculator goes in the top drawer with my pens and paper clips. Everything in its place. That's how I've always worked. That's how I thought life worked too. Outside, February drizzle hits the office windows. Portland weather. Gray and persistent, like the ache Jenny and I carry, but never name anymore. 6 months since we lost the baby. 6 months of careful conversations about groceries and utility bills, while bigger truths hide in plain sight. My phone buzzes. Text from our landlord, Mr. Patterson. Rent was due Monday. It's Thursday. Please advise. I stare at the screen. We have the money. I moved it to checking 3 days ago. $800, safe in our account. Jenny picked up extra shifts this week to make sure we had cushion. She's been covering for me staying late at work, or what she thinks is work, but I know where I'm going tonight. Same place I've gone 12 times in the past 3 months. Not for the gambling, not really. For the quiet focus it gives me. For the feeling that something might finally go right. I tell myself it's just dinner. The Riverside Casino has a buffet that costs $7 and fills you up proper. Cheaper than most restaurants. Makes sense when you're trying to save money, right? The lie comes so easy now I almost believe it. I pack my briefcase. Turn off the computer. Check that the Santos file is secure. Miguel deserves his settlement. Deserves better than what happened to him. The elevator ride down feels longer than usual. In the parking garage, my Honda Civic sits under a burnt-out light. Key in the ignition. Engine turns over on the second try. I could drive home. Heat up leftovers with Jenny. Ask about her day in the ICU. Tell her about Miguel Santos and his broken back. We could watch something mindless on Netflix. Go to bed early. Instead, I pull out of the garage and turn toward the river, toward the casino, toward the one place where losing money feels like possibility instead of failure. The radio plays soft jazz. Traffic moves slow through downtown. I have $47 in my wallet and a debit card connected to our checking account. Rent money. Grocery money. The cushion Jenny earned with 12-hour shifts while I sat in this office pretending to work late. I could see the next red light. I could turn around. Go home. Heat up lo mein and tell my wife I love her. The light turns green. I drive straight. The Riverside Casino squats along the Willamette like a brick with neon trim. Nothing fancy. No towers or waterfalls like Vegas. Just a low building with a parking lot that always seems half full. No matter what time you arrive, that I've been coming here 3 months now. Started on a Tuesday in November when I left work feeling hollowed out by a claim involving a house fire. Family of four lost everything, including their cat. I processed their loss down to furniture receipts and clothing estimates. By closing time, I needed to be somewhere that wasn't my empty apartment or Miguel Santos's broken bones. The casino buffet seemed practical. $7 for all you can eat. Salad bar, fried chicken, mystery casserole that tastes better than it looks. I ate alone, reading case files, watching other diners who seemed as tired as I felt. That first night, I walked past the gaming floor on my way out. Saw the blackjack tables. Remembered learning basic strategy in college, back when math felt like something you could master instead of something that mastered you. I sat down with $50. Pure curiosity. The dealer was a middle-aged guy named Carl who explained the rules like he was teaching his nephew. I played careful, conservative hands. Basic strategy from memory. After an hour, I walked away with $200. The win felt different than anything had in months. Not just the money, though Jenny and I could use it. It was the control. The feeling that I'd solved something through logic and patience instead of just watching life happen to me. Tonight, the casino parking lot glistens with rain. I find a spot near the employee entrance, away from the main doors. Less conspicuous. Jenny thinks I'm working late again. Third time this week. Inside, the carpet is that special casino pattern, burgundy and gold swirls designed to hide stains. Slot machines chirp and chime. The air smells like cigarettes and industrial carpet cleaner. Somewhere, a bell rings for a jackpot that's probably $50. The buffet line moves slow. I take fried chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans that taste like they came from a can. Find a corner table where I can see the blackjack pit, but don't have to walk through it.my phone buzzes. Jenny, working late again? There's pad thai in the fridge. I type back. Yeah, sorry. Big case. Home by 10. Another lie. They're getting easier to AT the table next to mine. An older woman eats alone while playing video poker on a handheld device. She's been here both times I came this week. Same table, same chicken dinner, same device that beeps when she loses. I finish eating and check my wallet. $47 cash. My debit card sits behind my driver's license. Our checking account has $1,247. Rent money plus the cushion Jenny earned. The buffet receipt says $7.23 with tax. I could leave now. Drive home. Watch Netflix with my wife. Instead, I walk toward the blackjack tables. The gaming floor spreads out under low lighting that makes everyone look younger and more hopeful. Most tables are busy, couples on date nights, groups of friends, serious players who study their cards like medical students. Table 7 sits in a quiet corner. One player, an old man in a flannel shirt who looks like he's been here since lunch. The dealer is a woman about my age with quick hands and tired eyes. Her name tag says Maria. I sit down in the middle seat. Put a 20 on the felt. Changing 20. Maria calls to the pit boss, a heavy guy in a cheap suit who nods without looking up from his paperwork. She slides 4 red chips toward me. $5 each. Good luck, she says. Her voice is professional, but not unfriendly. The kind of tone you use with customers you see regularly, but don't really know. I bet 1 chip. She deals 2 cards to me, 1 to herself. I have a king and a 6. Her up card is a 5. Basic strategy says hit. The king gives me 16, and dealers bust more often when they show low cards. I tap the felt for another card. 7 of clubs. 23. Bust. Maria sweeps away my chip with practiced efficiency. Sorry about that. The old man in flannel gets blackjack and grins like he's won the lottery instead of $15. Maria pays him with crisp bills. I bet another chip. This time I get dealt 2 8s. Maria shows a 9. Basic strategy says split the 8s, but that means doubling my bet. 2 hands at $10 total. I hesitate. Then slide another chip forward. Splitting 8s, Maria announces. She deals me a 3 on the first 8, making 11. Perfect for doubling down, which means betting another chip. $20 total now on hands that started with 5. The math makes sense. The odds favor it. But $20 is more than I usually bet in an entire night. I look at Maria. She's waiting patiently, no judgment in her expression. The old man has wandered off to try the slot machines. I slide another chip forward. Maria deals me a 7 on my double down 11. 18 total. Solid hand. On my second 8. She gives me a queen. Also 18. Her whole card flips. 6, making 15. She has to hit. Draws a 7 for 22. Bust. I win both hands. $40 in chips slide toward me. I started this hand with $5 and ended with 50. Nice split, Maria says. Those 8s can be tricky. The old man returns from the slots, grumbling about machines that used to pay better. He sits back down and immediately bets the table minimum. $5, like he's afraid the cards will change if he waits. I should leave. Up $45 for the night. That's grocery money, gas money. But the win feels like proof of something I can't name yet. Proof that careful planning works. That math beats luck. I bet $10 on the next hand. Maria deals herself a 7 showing. I get Jack Queen for 20. She flips a king underneath for 17. I win again. Now I'm up $65. The largest win I've had here. You're having a good night, Maria observes while shuffling. Her hands move like she's been dealing cards since high school. Quick and sure. Just playing the odds, I say. Odds help, she agrees. But cards don't remember what happened before. The old man nods like she's shared ancient wisdom. He's down to his last 2 chips, but seems content about it. Like losing money is just part of the entertainment, Maria shuffles 6 decks together. The sound is soothing, like rain on a roof or pages turning in a library. While she shuffles, I check my phone. Jenny, don't wait up if you're really late. Early shift tomorrow. It's 9:15. I told her I'd be home by 10. The drive takes 20 minutes if traffic's light. I bet $15 on the next hand. The old man looks at my bet, then at his remaining $10 in chips. You're either brave or foolish, he says. Haven't figured out which yet. Maria deals. I get a 7. Soft 18. She shows a 6. With a soft 18 against a 6. Basic strategy, says stand. The dealer will likely bust, and even if she doesn't, 18 wins most hands. But a7 can also be played as 8, which means I could hit and try to improve. If I draw a 2 or 3, I'll have a better hand. If I draw a 10, I'm back to 18. I tap the felt for a hit. You sure? Maria asks. Not judging, just checking. Hit me. She slides a 3 across the felt. A7 3 makes 21. The old man whistles softly. Well, I'll be damned. Maria flips her whole card. King for 16. Draws a 9 for 25. Bust again. My $15 bet becomes 30. I'm up $95 for the night. This is where I should walk away. Up almost $100 on a Tuesday night when all I wanted was dinner. Jenny would be thrilled. We could put it toward our emergency fund or use it for date night next weekend. Instead, I stack my chips into neat piles. Reds and greens. $5 and $25 denominations. Taking a break? Maria asks. Just organizing. The old man cashes out his last chips and wanders toward the parking lot. Maria and I are alone at the table now. The casino feels quieter. Most of the dinner crowd has gone home to families and responsibilities. You want to hear something funny? I ask. Sure. I calculate insurance settlements for a living. Other people's accidents and losses. Today I processed a claim for a guy who fell off a roof. Probably cost him $500,000 in medical bills and lost wages. That's not funny. The funny part is, I can calculate exactly what his broken back is worth to an insurance company. But I can't figure out what mine is worth to my wife. Maria stops shuffling and looks at me directly. Her eyes are brown with flecks of green. Kind eyes. Everything okay at home? She asks that I think about Jenny crying in the shower this morning when she thought I couldn't hear. About the way we eat dinner in front of the TV now because conversation feels too dangerous. About the nursery we converted back to an office without ever talking about it. We lost a baby 6 months ago, I say. Miscarriage at 16 weeks. We had names picked out. Jenny had started showing. Then one day we went for a checkup and there was no heartbeat. I'm sorry. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about much of anything anymore. I thought if I could solve some of our money problems, maybe we could find our way back to each other. Maria nods like she's heard versions of this story before. How's that working out? I look at my chips. Nearly $100 ahead. Tonight, pretty good. She starts dealing again. New hand. Fresh start. My phone buzzes. Text from Mr. Patterson, our landlord. Please call regarding late rent. Need to discuss timeline. The rent. $800. Due Monday, now overdue Thursday. Jenny thinks I transferred it from savings earlier this week. And I did transfer it. Right into our checking account where it's been sitting for 3 days while I've been coming here instead of going home. I bet $25 on the next hand. Step up bet. Maria announces to the empty air around us. The cards come. 9-7 for me. Queen showing for her point 16 versus queen. Basic strategy says hit, even though it feels wrong. Most beginners would stand, afraid of busting. But the math says dealers make hands with queens more often than not. I signal for a card, point 5 of diamonds. 21. Maria flips an 8 underneath her queen. 18. Another win. My $25 bet becomes 50. I'm up $145 now. More money than Jenny makes in a day of nursing. Enough to cover the late fees on our rent and still have cushion left over. You're on a streak, Maria says. Feels like it. Streaks end. Tonight. She shrugs and shuffles. Cards don't carry calendars. My phone shows 9:45. Jenny will be asleep when I get home. I'll slip into bed quietly, and in the morning she'll ask how the big case went. I'll tell her it's moving forward. Progress being made. I bet $50 on the next hand. Maria pauses before dealing. You sure about this one? I look at my chips. Look at my phone. Think about Jenny's extra shifts and Mr. Patterson's text messages and the way hope feels when it's backed by mathematics. Deal the cards. Maria deals the cards with surgical precision. My $50 bet sits in the circle like an accusation. Jack 7 offsuit. 17 total. Her up card shows a 9. Basic strategy screams at me to stand. 17 against 9. You hold and pray she busts. But the chips feel warm in my palm, and I'm riding the kind of streak that makes you believe the universe has finally tilted in your favor. I tap the felt. Maria's eyebrows lift slightly. Hit on 17? Hit me. The card slides across green. Felt like a judgment. Queen of Hearts. 27. Bust. My $50 disappears into Maria's chip rack with practiced efficiency. The sound echoes in the sudden quiet of the empty gaming floor. I'm sorry, she says, and means I teed at my phone buzzes again. Patterson, final notice on rent. Pay by Friday or begin eviction proceedings. I stare at the message until the letters blur. Friday is tomorrow. Our checking account has exactly what we need. If I stopped here, drove home, paid the rent online like a responsible adult, instead, I slide a $100 bill across the felt. Sir, Maria says carefully, maybe you want to take a minute? I'm good. The lie tastes metallic. Just buying back in. She changes the 100 into 4 green chips. $25 each. I bet 50 on the next hand, keeping 50 in reserve. This time I get dealt pocket 5s. Maria shows a 6. Basic strategy says double down. Bet another 50 and take exactly 1 card. The odds favor it mathematically. I push forward another $50 chip. The double down card arrives. Ace. 16 total. Maria flips her whole card. 10 for 16 total. She has to hit. Draws a 4 for 20. I lose $100 in 30 seconds. My reserve chips are gone. My winnings are gone. I'm exactly where I started. Except now I'm betting money that belongs to our landlord. The casino clock shows 10:30. Jenny's text says she's going to bed early. I could still make this right. Go home, apologize for being late. Pay the rent tomorrow morning. But the ATM beckons from across the gaming floor like a glowing promise. The ATM asks how much I want to withdraw. My fingers hover over the keypad. Our checking account balance, $1,247. Rent costs $800. That leaves $447 in cushion, money. Jenny earned with extra shifts while I was supposedly working late. I withdraw $200. Just enough to win back what I lost and go home even. Back at the table, Maria looks uncomfortable. How about we call it a night? You've had some good hands already. One more session, I say. 20 minutes max. The green chips feel heavier now. Each one represents groceries we won't buy, gas we won't put in the car, the financial cushion that lets Jenny sleep soundly. I bet 25. Get dealt blackjack, ace and king. Natural winner. Maria pays me $37.50. I'm up $12 from my ATM withdrawal. See, I tell her, math works. But math only works when you stop calculating. When you let probability run its course instead of chasing outcomes. Every actuarial table I've ever studied says the house edge is mathematically certain over time. I bet 50 on the next hand. 8-3 versus her 10. Basic strategy says hit. I draw a queen for 21. Maria flips a 7 underneath. 17. I win again. Now I'm up $87 from the ATM money. If I stop here, I've recovered my original losses and still have money left over. Ginny never has to know about any of this. Instead, I think about Miguel Santos and his broken back, about families who lose everything and still have to keep living, about the mathematics of hope in a world designed to disappoint you. I bet $75. Maria deals herself an ace showing. She checks for blackjack, peeks at her whole card with professional discretion. No blackjack, she announces that I have queen 6. 16 total. Against an ace, basic strategy says surrender if it's available. Give up half my bet and live to fight another hand. But surrender feels like everything else in my life lately. Giving up before the fight is finished. Hit me. The card tumbles across felt like a dice throw. 5 of clubs. 21 again. Maria's whole card reveals a king. 21 for her too. Push. Nobody wins. Nobody loses. My bet stays in place like it's rooted there. We're alone in this corner of the casino now. The cleaning crew has started working the far end of the gaming floor. Somewhere in the distance, slot machines chirp their electronic songs to empty chairs. Last hand, I tell Maria. Then I'm heading home. She nods, relieved that I push all my chips forward. $162. Everything I have left on the table. The cards fall in slow motion. My 2 cards land face down. Maria's up card shows a queen of spades that I lift the corner of my first card, ace of hearts. Good start. Second card, king of diamonds, blackjack. Natural 21. The best hand in the game. Maria checks her whole card for blackjack. Shakes her head. No 21 for me. She pays me 3-2 on my bet. $243 slides across the felt toward me. Combined with my original bet, I have $405 in chips that I started tonight with $47 in my wallet. Congratulations, Maria says. Hell of a way to end the night. I should cash out. Walk away. Go home to Ginny with enough money to pay rent, cover groceries, maybe even have a decent weekend for the first time in months. Instead, I check my phone. 11:47 p.m. Ginny texted an hour ago. Love you. Try to get some sleep when you get home. Love you. When was the last time I said that back? When was the last time we had a conversation that wasn't about bills or schedules or the careful dance of avoiding topics that hurt too much to touch? I bet $50 on the next hand. I thought that was your last hand, Maria says. One more. I'm feeling lucky. The cards come. 7-4 for me. Jack showing for her. 11 total against a 10. Basic strategy says double down. Bet another 50 and take exactly 1 card. But doubling down means risking $100 on a single draw. If I bust or she makes a hand, I lose twice as much. I signal for a regular hit instead. Maria slides a 10 across the felt. 21. Her whole card. King. 20. I win by 1. The 50 becomes 100. I'm up to $455 total. More money than we spend on groceries in a month. Enough to pay rent and still have cushion left over. Enough to take Ginny out for a real dinner this weekend. Not fast food or leftovers, but somewhere with cloth napkins and wine lists. My phone rings. Ginny's name on the screen. I let it go to voicemail, then listen to the message with growing dread. Lucas, Mr. Patterson called me about the rent. He said you haven't paid yet, and he needs it by tomorrow or we're getting evicted. I'm confused because you said you moved the money days ago. Call me back. Maria pretends not to hear, but the casino is quiet enough that every word carries. Everything okay? She asks. Fine. I say automatically. Just work stuff. But it's not fine. Nothing has been fine since we lost the baby and stopped knowing how to talk to each other. Since I started coming here looking for solutions in a place designed to create problems. I bet $100 on the next hand. My phone rings again before Maria can deal the cards. Ginny again. I have to take this. I tell Maria, stepping away from the table. Lucas. Ginny's voice sounds small and distant. Where are you? It's almost midnight. Still at the office. Big case, remember? No, you're not. I called the office. Building security said everyone left hours ago. The casino floor suddenly feels too bright, too loud. A slot machine jackpot starts ringing 3 tables away. Someone just won $47, and the machine celebrates like it's a lottery ticket. Ginny, I can explain. Are you gambling? The question hangs in the air like smoke. I could lie. Should lie? Tell her I'm at a bar, or helping a colleague, or driving around thinking. Anything but the truth that makes me sound like every desperate story we see on TV. Yes, I say silence. Then, how much? I look back at my chips on the table. $455. More than I started with, but not more than I withdrew from our account. I'm up money, Jen. I'm actually winning. How much did you take? 200. But I'm ahead now. I can pay the rent, and we'll still have. You took rent money to a casino. It's not like that. I had a system. Basic strategy. I calculate odds for a living, remember? I know what I'm doing. Lucas. Her voice breaks on my name. We lost our baby 6 months ago. We can barely talk to each other. And now you're gambling with our rent money. I'm trying to fix things. By gambling. By solving our money problems. By giving us some breathing room. If I win tonight, we can, if you win. Lucas, do you hear yourself? At the table, Maria waves to get my attention. Other players have joined the game. A young couple on what looks like a date, an older man in a business suit who smells like expensive cologne. She needs to know if I'm playing my hand or abandoning it. I have to go, I tell Jenny. Don't you dare hang up on me. I'm not hanging up. I need to finish this hand. Then I'll come home and we'll talk. If you place one more bet, don't bother coming home tonight. The line goes dead. I stare at my phone for 30 seconds. Then walk back to the table. Everything okay? Maria asks. My $100 bet sits in the circle. The other players wait patiently for me to look at my cards. I flip them over. 9-2. 11 total. Maria's up card shows a 5. Perfect double down situation. 11 against 5. The mathematics are overwhelming in my favor. I should bet another 100 and take one card. Basic strategy demands it, but doubling down means betting $200 total. If I lose, I'll have lost more money than I withdrew. If I win, I'll have $800. Enough to pay rent and prove to Jenny that I can make this work. The business suit man taps his fingers impatiently. The young couple whispers to each other about whether to split their eights. Sir, Maria prompts gently. I think about Jenny's voice breaking on my name. About Miguel Santos and his broken back. About the mathematics of loss and the difference between probability and hope. I slide another $100 chip forward. Doubling down. Maria deals one card face down on my doubled 11. I'm not allowed to look at it until she finishes with all the other players. The business suit man has 18 and stands. The young couple splits their eights, then doubles down on one of them. They're betting more money than I make in a week, and they're laughing about it. Maria flips her whole card. 9, making 14. She has to hit .7 of clubs. 21. The table goes quiet. Maria made a perfect hand against everyone. I flip my double down card. 10. 21 for me too. Push. Nobody wins. Nobody loses. My $200 slides back toward me along with everyone else's losing bets. The young couple just lost $300 and they're already talking about hitting the ATM. Lucky break, the business suit man says to me. That could have been expensive. I cash out without another word. $455 in 20s and 50s. Maria counts it twice and wishes me good luck. I in the parking lot. Rain falls steadily on empty cars. My phone shows 6 missed calls from Jenny and 3 text messages I don't have the courage to read yet. The drive home takes forever and no time at all. Our apartment building looks different in the darkness, smaller, shabbier. The hallway smells like cooking oil and other people's lives. I stand outside our door for 5 minutes. Keys in my hand, listening for sounds of life inside. Nothing. The apartment is dark except for the kitchen light. Jenny sits at the table with her laptop open and papers spread around her. Bills, bank statements. Our lease agreement. I didn't think you'd come back, she says without looking up. I said I would. You said a lot of things. I sit down across from her and put the cash on the table. $455 in mixed bills. I won, I say. We can pay rent and still have money left over. Jenny stares at the money like it's contaminated. How much did you take from our account? 200. So you're up $255. Right. Almost 300 profit. She opens her laptop and turns it toward me. Our online banking page shows the transaction history. 3 ATM withdrawals in the past 2 weeks. $50, then $100, then tonight's $200. What about those? She asks. My stomach drops. I'd forgotten about the other times. The smaller sessions when I told myself I was just getting dinner at the buffet. Those were I start, then stop. There's no lie that makes this better. $350 total, Jenny says. So you're actually up $105. If we're keeping score. We don't have to keep score. I'm done. This was it. Done. I proved I could win. I solved our money problem. Now we move forward. Jenny closes the laptop and looks at me directly for the first time since I walked in. Lucas, we don't have a money problem. We have a trust problem. We have a communication problem. We have a grief problem that we've been ignoring for 6 months. The baby, don't say the baby. Say our daughter. Say Emma. The name hits me like a physical blow. Emma Rose Davenport. We'd picked the name at 14 weeks, when Jenny started showing and everything felt possible. I know her name. Then say it. Say why you're gambling with our rent money instead of talking to your wife about losing our daughter. The kitchen light buzzes overhead. The refrigerator hums. Somewhere in the building, someone's TV plays late-night talk shows through thin walls. I don't know how to talk about it. I say finally. So you gamble instead? I solve problems for a living. Calculate losses, figure out settlements. But I can't calculate this loss. I can't put a dollar figure on losing Emma or on watching you cry in the shower every morning. Jenny wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. So you went looking for a different kind of problem. One with clear rules and mathematical solutions. Something like that. How's that working out? I look at the money on the table. $455 that represents 3 months of lying, 3 months of avoiding home, 3 months of choosing slot machines over my wife's grief. Not well? I admit. Jenny makes coffee at 2 a.m. because neither of us is going to sleep. We sit at the kitchen table with the casino money between us like evidence in a trial. Tell me about the first time, she says. November. Tuesday night. I'd processed a house fire claim. Family lost everything, including their pet. I felt empty when I left work. Couldn't face coming home to what? To the quiet. To the way we've been moving around each other like strangers. To the nursery we converted to an office without ever talking about it. Jenny stirs sugar into her coffee with mechanical precision. So you went to a casino. I want to eat dinner. $7 buffet seemed practical when we were trying to save money. The gambling just happened. And you won. $200. First time I'd felt in control of anything since we lost Emma. There. I said her name. It doesn't make the pain less, but it makes it real instead of this shapeless grief we've been carrying separately. What did you do with the money? Put it in our savings account. Told myself I'd help with Christmas presents. Jenny laughs, but there's no humor in it. You were gambling to be a better husband. I was gambling because I didn't know how to be any kind of husband. We stopped touching, stopped talking. I'd come home, and you'd be reading or watching TV, and I'd feel like an intruder in my own life. I felt the same way. Then why didn't we talk about it? Because talking meant admitting Emma was really gone. That we weren't going to be parents. That we had to figure out who we are without her. The coffee tastes bitter. Outside, Portland rain patters against windows like fingers tapping out Morse code messages we can't decipher. I should have stayed home, I say. Should have figured out how to grieve with you instead of around you. I should have asked where you were really going. I knew something was wrong, but I was scared to find out what. What happens now? Jenny counts the money on the table. 4 hundreds, a 50, and a 5. We pay the rent. We call Mr. Patterson and apologize. We figure out how to rebuild trust when we've both been lying by omission. I'll stop gambling. Will you? The question hangs in the air. Will I? Can I? The memory of tonight's win still pulses in my chest. The feeling of control, of possibility, of being good at something again. I want to, I say, but I don't know if wanting is enough. It's a start. Jenny stands and refills her coffee cup. In the kitchen light, she looks younger and older simultaneously, like the woman I married, but carved hollow by months of carrying grief we never shared. I've been thinking about seeing someone, she says. A therapist. About Emma, about us. Together, separately first. Then maybe together if we can figure out how to be in the same room without pretending everything's fine. I nod. The idea of talking to a stranger about the worst thing that's ever happened to me sounds terrifying and necessary at the same time. There's something else, Jenny says. I looked up gambling addiction resources tonight while you were gone. There are meetings, support groups. I'm not addicted. I can stop. Can you? The question echoes. Can I? Tonight, I told myself one more hand, then bet everything I had. Tonight, I chose the casino over my wife's phone calls. Tonight I risked our home for the chance to win money we don't actually need. Maybe I need help, I admit. Maybe we both do. Dawn light starts filtering through the kitchen windows. Jenny has to work a 12-hour shift in 4 hours. I should call in sick, but we need the money now more than ever. One more thing, Jenny says. Delete the casino app from your phone. I didn't know she knew about the app. The one that shows point balances and daily promotions. The one that sends me text messages about special weekend rates that I take out my phone and delete it while she watches. Thank you. She says that it's not enough. Deleting an app doesn't delete the urge to drive to the river when life feels unmanageable. But it's something. A first small step away from the tables and toward whatever comes next. 3 weeks later. I'm sitting in a community center basement with 8 other people and a coffee urn that makes sounds like a dying appliance. The folding chairs form a circle, and everyone has that particular look of people who've made choices they wish they could unmake. My name is Lucas. And I haven't gambled in 21 days. The words feel foreign in my mouth, but they're getting easier each time I say them. The group meets Tuesdays and Thursdays. I've been coming for 2 weeks now, mostly listening, occasionally sharing small pieces of my story. How are you feeling about the urges this week? Asks Sandra, our group facilitator. She's a former slot machine player who lost her house in Reno and moved to Portland to start over. Better, I say. I drove past the casino Tuesday night on my way home from work. Didn't even slow down. That's progress, says Mike, a retired teacher who used to bet on sports until he owed money to people with unfriendly collection methods. First few weeks, I drive 3 miles out of my way to avoid even seeing the place. The other members nod in recognition. Carol, who played poker online until she'd emptied her children's college funds. James, who borrowed against his 401k to chase losses on penny stocks that weren't really investing. Sarah, whose scratch-off ticket habit cost her marriage and custody of her daughter. All of us chasing different versions of the same thing, the feeling that we could control outcomes in a world that mostly happens to us rather than for us. Tell us about your wife, Sandra suggests. How are things at home? Different, I say. We're seeing a counselor together now, Dr. Martinez. She specializes in grief counseling, but we spend a lot of time talking about trust and communication. That's brave, Carol says. Couples therapy is hard, even when you're not dealing with addiction. Are you calling it addiction now? Sandra asks gently. I consider the question. 3 weeks ago, I would have said no. I would have insisted I was just having some bad luck, making poor choices, going through a rough patch. I would have pointed to my wins, my knowledge of basic strategy, my ability to stop when I wanted to. But I haven't wanted to stop. Even now, 21 days clean, I still think about the tables. I still do the math on blackjack hands I see in movies. I still get promotional emails from casinos in other states and feel a small flutter of possibility before deleting them. Yeah, I say. I think I am. The admission feels like stepping off a cliff, but also like landing somewhere solid. Jenny and I are taking it day by day. I continue. We're talking about Emma Moore, about what we lost and what we want to build going forward. It's messy and painful, but it's honest. Honest is hard, Sarah says, but it's the only thing that actually works long term. After the meeting, I walk to my car through Portland drizzle that's become as familiar as breathing. My phone buzzes with a text from Jenny. Therapy went well today. Dr. Martinez wants to know if you're free for a joint session tomorrow at 4. I text back. Yes. Love you. She responds immediately. Love you too. We're saying it more now. Not because everything is fixed, but because we're learning the difference between saying it as habit and saying it as choice. The drive home takes me past the Riverside Casino. The neon still glows against the river, still promises solutions to problems it can't actually solve. But tonight it looks smaller than I remember. Less like possibility and more like what it really is. A business designed to profit from hope that's run out of other places to go. At home. Jenny has leftovers heated up and a documentary queued on Netflix. Something about penguins in Antarctica. Animals that mate for life and huddle together through months of darkness until the sun returns. How was group? She asks as we settle on the couch. Good. Hard. I called it addiction out loud for the first time. How did that feel? Scary. But true. She takes my hand. The first time we've held hands while sober and present in longer than I can remember. I'm proud of you, she says it on the TV. Penguins waddle across ice fields toward an uncertain but shared future. Outside our windows, rain falls on a city full of people making choices they hope they can live with. 21 days without gambling. One day at a time, building something real from the pieces of what broke apart. My name is Lucas Davenport, and I'm learning the difference between calculating losses and accepting them, between solving problems and creating new ones, between the mathematics of hope and the harder arithmetic of healing. Tomorrow I'll wake up and choose again. And the day after that, for as long as it takes to build a life worth betting on. Maria deals 2 cards face down, then flips her up card, Queen of Spades. The casino's overhead lights cast everything in amber, making the green felt look like deep water. I lift the corners of my cards slowly, the way you might peek at X-rays you're not ready to see. First card, Ace of Hearts. Second card, Jack of Clubs, Blackjack, Natural 21. The relief hits me like cold air after stepping out of a furnace. Maria checks her whole card. No blackjack for the house. She pays me 3-2 on my $50 bet. $75 slides toward me. Beautiful hand, the old man says, nodding approval that I should stop here. Walk away with my winnings intact. Drive home to Jenny and her leftover Thai food and the conversation we keep avoiding about Emma's empty nursery. Instead, I think about Miguel Santos and his broken vertebrae. About how insurance companies calculate the worth of a man's mobility, his ability to lift his children, his future earning potential. The settlement I approve today will change his family's life, but it will never give him back what he lost. What if I could do that for Jenny and me? What if I could win enough to give us options, pay off debt, take a real vacation, maybe even move to a better apartment where we wouldn't hear our neighbors fighting through thin walls? I bet $75 on the next hand. Maria's eyebrows lift slightly. She's seen this progression before. The careful player who starts with $5 bets and slowly escalates as confidence builds or desperation grows. The cards come: 9 of diamonds, 2 of clubs. 11 total. Her up card shows a 6. Perfect double down situation. The mathematics are overwhelming. 11 against 6 gives me roughly 65% chance of winning. If I double my bet to $150 and take exactly 1 card, the odds strongly favor success. But doubling down means risking more money than I make in 3 days. It means betting grocery money on a single card draw. My phone sits silent on the table. Jenny's last text about dinner remains unanswered. She's probably eating alone now, wondering if I'm really working late or if something else is keeping me away from home. The old man watches my internal debate with interest. 11 against 6, he murmurs. Book says double every time. Book doesn't pay my rent, I reply, but I'm already reaching for another chip. Maria waits patiently while I make my decision. Her expression reveals nothing. She's seen players make smart choices and stupid ones. Watched fortunes built and destroyed across this same stretch of felt. I slide another $75 chip forward. Doubling down. The double down card arrives face down. I'm not allowed to look until Maria completes the hand. She flips her whole card. 10, making 16. Draws another card, 7 of hearts. 23. Bust. Without looking at my card, I know I've won. Even if I drew the worst possible card, an ace for 12 total, I still beat her 23. I flip my double down card anyway. King of hearts. $21,300 in chips sits in front of me. More money than Jenny makes in 4 12-hour shifts at the hospital. The casino clock shows 11:43 p.m. when my phone rings. Jenny's name appears on the screen like an accusation. I should take this, I tell Maria, stepping away from the table with my chips stacked neatly in front of my seat. Lucas. Jenny's voice sounds distant, tired. Where are you? I called the office and security said the building's been empty for hours. The casino noise swirls around me. Slot machines chiming, dice clattering on craps tables. The soft shuffle of cards being dealt to people chasing the same desperate mathematics I am. I start, then stop. The lie feels too heavy to carry. I'm not at the office. I know that. Tom in security knows your car. He said you haven't been there past 6 all week. Tom. I'd forgotten about Tom, the evening security guard who walks the parking garage and knows which cars belong to which employees. Of course he'd notice my absence. Jenny, I can explain. Are you having an affair? The question hits me harder than a bust on a big bet. What? No. God, no. Then where are you? Lucas, I'm scared. Ever since we lost Emma, you've been disappearing piece by piece. Late nights, distracted conversations, that look in your eyes like you're solving equations I can't see. Emma, our daughter's name hangs in the air between us, heavy with 6 months of unspoken grief. We named her at 14 weeks when Jenny's belly started showing and the future felt mapped out in baby books and nursery paint samples. I'm at the casino. I say finally. Silence stretches across the phone connection. In the background, I hear our apartment's familiar sounds. The refrigerator humming, the upstairs neighbor's television bleeding through thin walls. Gambling? She asks. Winning? I correct, though the distinction feels increasingly meaningless. I'm up almost $300 tonight. $300. Her voice carries no inflection. And how much have you lost getting to this $300? I think about the previous visits. The 50 here, 100 there. The session 2 weeks ago where I lost $80 and told myself it was tuition for learning better strategy. That's not. It doesn't work that way. You have to look at the long-term mathematical expectation. Lucas, listen to yourself. You sound like those guys on TV who bet their kids' college funds on football games. This is different. I understand the probabilities. I work with statistics every day. You work with other people's losses. And now you're creating your own. At the blackjack table, Maria waves to get my attention. A small line has formed behind my seat, players waiting to join the game. I hold up one finger, asking for another minute. I have to go, I tell Jenny. We can talk about this when I get home. If you place another bet, don't bother coming home tonight. The line goes dead. I stare at my phone for 30 seconds. Then walk back to the table where $300 in chips waits like a promise I'm not sure I want to keep. Maria has held my seat, stacking my chips in neat columns while new players settle around the table. A middle-aged woman in a nurse's uniform sits to my left, probably getting off a late shift, looking for a way to decompress that doesn't involve going home to whatever waits there. Everything okay? Maria asks as I sit down. Fine, I lie. Just work stuff. The nurse orders a vodka tonic from the cocktail waitress. Her hospital ID badge reads Sarah, ICU. Same unit where Jenny works, though I don't recognize her. Portland's a big city, multiple hospitals, but the coincidence feels like the universe offering commentary on my choices. Rough night. I ask her. Lost a patient, she says simply. 23 years old. Car accident. Sometimes you need to feel alive after watching someone die. I understand. Not the medical trauma, but the need to feel control over outcomes when life demonstrates how little control we actually have. Every insurance claim I process tells the same story. Careful people making reasonable choices until random events reorganize their entire existence. I'm sorry, I say. Part of the job. But tonight I'm going to win some money and pretend the universe gives a damn about fairness. Maria deals the cards. I get 10-6, Sarah gets 8-7, and the dealer shows a 5. Basic strategy says I should stand. 16 against 5, let the dealer bust herself. But standing feels passive. Accepting whatever happens instead of fighting for control that I signal for a hit. You sure? Maria asks. 16 against 5, hit me. The card slides across. 4 of clubs. 20. A perfect hand. Sarah doubles down on her 15 and draws a 6 for 21. The dealer flips a 10 under her 5, then draws another 10 for 25. Bust that we all win. The mathematics worked out despite my violation of basic strategy. Sometimes you have to trust your instincts, Sarah says, collecting her chips. Sometimes instincts are just fear disguised as intuition, I reply. She laughs. Spoken like someone who overthinks everything. My phone buzzes with a text from Jenny. I mean it, Lucas. Don't come home if you're still gambling. I show the message to Sarah before I can stop myself. She reads it and frowns. How long you been married? 8 years. Together for 10. She know about the gambling? She does now. And she's drawing lines in the sand. I nod, staring at my chips. $325 after the last win. Enough to pay rent with money left over. Enough to prove to Jenny that calculated risks can pay off. You want some advice from someone who's seen people die over stupid choices? Sarah asks. Sure. Go home. Kiss your wife. Tell her you're sorry and that you're done with this place. But I'm winning. Tonight. What about next week? What about when you're down 500 and telling yourself you can win it back with one big hand? Maria deals another round. I get dealt blackjack. Ace and queen. Natural winner again. Sarah shakes her head as Maria pays me. Even the universe is trying to hook you. My phone rings. Ginny again. This time, I don't answer. The casino empties as midnight approaches. The nurse named Sarah cashed out 20 minutes ago with her modest winnings, pausing to squeeze my shoulder and whisper, "Go home to your wife." But I can't go home. Not yet. Not when I'm sitting on $460 in chips and finally understanding something fundamental about probability theory, the mathematics of ruin. That's what actuaries call it. The inevitable point where any gambling system eventually fails, regardless of favorable odds or perfect strategy. Every insurance company understands this principle. It's why they stay in business while customers pay premiums their entire lives and still might not collect enough to break even. But what if you could beat the mathematics? What if perfect information and disciplined betting could overcome the house edge? I'm alone at the table now except for Maria and one other player, a young guy in an expensive suit who's been losing steadily for the past hour. He bets minimum amounts with the grim persistence of someone trying to lose exactly enough money to feel appropriately punished for some unnamed transgression. You've had a good night, Maria observes as she shuffles. Most people would call it quits when they're up this much. Most people don't understand probability mathematics. And you do. I think about Miguel Santos and his crushed vertebrae. About the algorithms I use to calculate settlement values. Lost wages times years until retirement. Medical expenses times inflation factors. Pain and suffering multiplied by precedent cases and jury sympathy indices. I calculate people's losses for a living. I understand exactly how much bad luck costs. But do you understand how much good luck costs? The question catches me off guard. Good luck doesn't cost anything. Good luck pays. Maria deals 2 cards to each of us. I get 7-4. She shows a king. The young man in the suit gets dealt something that makes him immediately signal surrender, giving up half his bet rather than playing the hand. Smart move. I tell him. Sometimes surrender is the only rational choice, he replies, even when it feels like giving up. 11 against king. Basic strategy says hit, though the odds aren't favorable. Most of the cards that help me are already gone. I need a 9 or 10 to make a strong hand, and the deck feels depleted of face cards that I signal for a hit anyway. 6 of hearts. 17 total. Maria flips her whole card. 8. 18 beats 17. Another $50 loss. I'm down to $410. My phone shows 3 missed calls from Jenny and 2 text messages I haven't read yet. The most recent one just says, "Please, you want to take a break?" Maria suggests, "Get some coffee, clear your head." I'm fine, but I'm not fine. I'm chasing something that doesn't exist. The perfect intersection of skill and luck that turns random events into controllable outcomes. The same thing I've been chasing since we lost Emma. Some mathematical formula that explains why bad things happen to careful people. The young man in the suit loses another hand and stands up abruptly. "That's enough self-punishment for one night," he announces, leaving a small tip for Maria. Now it's just the 2 of us. Dealer and player. House edge against human hope. Tell me something, I say as Maria prepares to deal again. In all your years dealing cards, have you ever seen someone beat the system? Really beat it long term? She considers the question while shuffling 6 decks together. Her hands move with the unconscious precision of someone who's performed the same motions thousands of times. Define beat the system, she says finally. Win enough money to change their life. Pay off debt. Buy a house. Solve their real problems. I've seen people win big. Huge jackpots. Incredible streaks. But beating the system? No. The system isn't designed to be beaten. It's designed to give you just enough hope to keep playing until mathematics catches up. What if someone had perfect knowledge? Perfect strategy? Then they'd be working for the casino, not playing against it. She deals the next hand. I get dealt 2 10s, 20 total. Strong hand. Her up card shows an ace. Insurance? She asks, offering me the side bet that pays if she is blackjack. Insurance is a sucker bet mathematically. Even with 20, I should decline. But 20 against ace feels vulnerable. Like standing in a hospital hallway waiting for news you already know will break you. Insurance. I say, sliding forward $20. Maria checks her whole card and smiles sadly. No blackjack. My insurance bet loses, but my 20 beats her 19. A wash. $50 won, $20 lost on insurance. The mathematics worked out, but barely. And I made two bets when basic strategy called for one that I'm starting to understand the mathematics of ruin. It's not about one catastrophic loss. It's about the slow erosion of discipline. The gradual expansion of acceptable risk until acceptable becomes inevitable. The casino clock reads 1:47 a.m. Maria has been dealing to me alone for over an hour. Our conversation drifting between blackjack strategy and the philosophical implications of calculated risk. I should probably head home, I say, but I don't move to collect my chips. Probably, she agrees. Your wife's probably worried. $430 in green and red chips sits stacked in front of me. Enough to pay rent with cushion left over. Enough to prove to Jenny that mathematical precision can overcome random events. But something else sits heavier than the chips. The growing certainty that I don't want to go home. Not to our quiet apartment where Emma's absence fills every room. Not to Jenny's careful questions about my day and my equally careful answers that reveal nothing. Here, at this table, problems have solutions. Cards follow probability distributions. Outcomes connect directly to decisions. Win or lose, the mathematics makes sense. One more hand, I say. Then I'm done. Maria nods like she's heard this before. How much? I look at my chips. Think about Miguel Santos and his broken back. About insurance settlements that try to quantify the unquantifiable. About the difference between calculated risks and reckless ones. All of it. Sir, Maria's professional composure slips slightly. All 430. All of it. She glances toward the pit boss, who's been reading a paperback novel behind the empty poker tables. He looks up, assesses the situation, then nods permission. You sure about this? Maria asks that I think about Jenny's text messages. About Tom the security guard who knows I haven't been working late. About the mathematics of loss and the price of winning, and the growing distance between who I thought I was and who I'm becoming. Deal the cards. She pushes all my chips into the betting circle. $430. More money than we spend on groceries in 2 months. Two cards slide across the felt toward me. Two cards that will determine whether I drive home as a winner or as someone who lost rent money to basic strategy and hope that I flip them over slowly. Ace of spades, king of hearts, blackjack, natural 21. The best possible hand. Maria checks her whole card and shakes her head. No blackjack for me. She pays me 3-2 on my bet. $645 slides toward me. Combined with my original bet, I have over $1,000 in chips. Congratulations, she says. Hell of a way to end the night. But I don't feel like celebrating. The win feels hollow, mechanical. Like solving an equation that doesn't lead anywhere meaningful. My phone buzzes with another text from Jenny. I've packed a bag. I'm staying at my sister's tonight. We need to talk when you're ready to be honest. I stare at the message until the letters blur. Everything okay? Maria asks. I think I just won and lost at the same time. She begins collecting the cards, preparing to shuffle for the next hand that isn't coming. You want some advice from someone who's seen this movie before? She asks. Sure. Take the money and go find your wife. Tell her you're sorry. Tell her you're scared. Tell her whatever truth you've been running from. What if she doesn't forgive me? What if she does? I stack the chips into neat columns, 20s and 5s, 100s and 25s. Over $1,000 in casino money that can't buy back trust or time or the daughter we lost. Thank you, I tell Maria, for dealing cards, for listening to a stranger work through his problems at 2 in the morning. She smiles, the first genuine expression I've seen from her all night. That's the job. Good luck with your wife. I cash out at the casino with crisp bills in hand, victory feeling hollow. In the parking lot, Portland rain falls while my phone shows missed calls from Jenny. At home, her car is gone. On the kitchen table, a note. I love you, but I can't watch you disappear anymore. Call me when you're ready to come back. I count the $1,067. Enough for rent and groceries, but not enough to bring Jenny back. Not enough to fill the space where our daughter Emma should have been. The money spreads across the table like evidence in a trial where I'm both defendant and jury. I wake on the couch, the cash still stacked neatly. Jenny texts at dawn. Are you okay? Please let me know you're safe. I reply. She answers. Not ready yet. Need time to think. At work, Miguel Santos's case waits. His broken back, his lost wages. I'm supposed to assign a number to his pain, but numbers blur with my own losses. When my boss checks in, I lie about being close to finished. I call Jenny at lunch. She asks how long I've been gambling. 3 months, I admit. Losses? Maybe 1,500. She doesn't want the winnings. She wants her husband. She wants me to get help. That night, I attend Gamblers Anonymous. Patricia, who runs the meeting, says gambling isn't about money but control, the illusion that numbers can master chaos. Around the circle, others share the same delusion. A day trader, a construction worker, a nurse. My turn. I lost my wife. We lost a daughter 6 months ago. I thought winning money could fix it. I won $1,000 and still lost everything. The truth lands. Gambling never solved grief. It only disguised it. I start going twice a week. Jenny and I talk again. She says maybe we can rebuild if I commit to recovery. I do. GA meetings, therapy, financial transparency. Patricia becomes my sponsor. 3 weeks later, I sit across from Jenny in a coffee shop. She notices I seem calmer. We finally talk about Emma. About how Jenny worked double shifts and I gambled to avoid her absence. About the nursery we turned into an office as if pretending she never existed. Jenny shows me the ultrasound she still carries. I confess I threw away my reminders. Avoidance didn't help. It only made grief lonelier. We decide to face it together. Keep Emma's room for now. Attend couples counseling. Move slowly. Jenny asks about the casino money. I tell her I donated it to her hospital's NICU in Emma's name. She weeps, then holds my arm for the first time in months. Recovery won't be easy, but it will be honest. Driving home, I pass the casino without stopping. Its neon looks like false promises now. My name is Lucas Davenport. I'm a compulsive gambler in recovery. I'm a father to a daughter I'll never hold, and a husband trying to rebuild from the pieces of who we used to be. Tomorrow, I'll choose again, not to gamble, not to avoid grief, but to show up for the life I still have.